Welcome to Crochet Remedy. Crochet is the remedy to just about everything. Here's your dose of crochet from my hook. This Disney, Toy Story, Pixar crochet kit.
2,000 years later.
I crocheted two different versions of Woody. I crocheted Woody Strode and Sheriff Woody. Is this crochet kit a buy or a pass? Let's talk about it. The kit was published by Thunderbird Press, and it includes an 80-page book with 12 crochet patterns, and it includes the following Toy Story characters: Woody, Buzz Lightyear, Rex, Bo Peep, Jessie, Bullseye, Ham, Forky, Lotso, Alien, Lilypad, and Smarty Pants. The kit includes the following materials: acrylic yarn in 9 colors to make Woody and Buzz Lightyear, a 3.25mm metal crochet hook, metal tapestry needle, metal embroidery needle, black embroidery floss, 2 pairs of black safety eyes, and then also it comes with this fiber fill stuffing. The kit includes materials to crochet Sheriff Woody and Buzz Lightyear. So if you want to crochet other characters from the book, you will need to pick a yarn of your choice. The designer recommends easy to clean fibers, washable fiber. Here's the examples in the book actually use Paintbox Cotton DK yarn, and the designer used a 2.75mm crochet. Woody Strode was one of the first African Americans to integrate the NFL with the Los Angeles Rams in 1946. Then Strode starred in several Hollywood films and authored a book titled Gold Dust. Interesting fact about Woody Strode: he attended UCLA and played football at UCLA alongside Jackie Robinson. For this project, I modified the Woody pattern. Here's what I did. I used Premier Minikins yarn, which is a size 2 yarn, 50% cotton, 50% acrylic blend, and I used a 2.25mm crochet hook. Woody measures about 4 inches tall sitting, and for the hat, the belt, and the boots, I chose Hobie Friends Cotton 8/4 because I didn't have any Premier Minikins light brown yarn, and I really wanted to use yarn from my yarn stash instead of purchasing more yarn. I'm very happy with how the project turned out. I embroidered the facial details with cotton yarn instead of using the safety eyes and embroidery thread. I really like using a tutorial from Cassandra from Craftably Ever After. She has a really great embroidery tutorial. I did choose to use hot glue to adhere the hair to the head, the buckle to the belt, and also the legs to the body. I found it very challenging to sew the legs to the body, so I decided to make this version of Woody a sitting version. The way that the pattern is written, you crochet this project from the top down instead of the bottom up. I really like crocheting patterns from the bottom up. That way the legs are integrated into the body. But for this project, the legs were crocheted separately from the body, and then makers are instructed to sew the legs onto the body. But I chose to just hot glue them on, and I think it turned out really well because Woody is a rag doll anyway, and so I think it's like perfect that he is sitting instead of standing. So I really like how it turned out. Here definitely looks like a cowboy. So happy with how this turned out. Sheriff Woody is the favorite of Andy's toys. Woody is a loyal and brave cowboy sheriff doll. He leads the other toys with heart and makes sure that no one gets left behind. For this project, I did use the acrylic yarn from the kit, and I used a Clover 3.25mm hook. I prefer using the Clover, a more crochet hook, because it is aluminum, it's super smooth, and has an easy grip handle. Woody measures 4.5 inches tall sitting, so I decided to make this version sitting as well, and I'll talk more about that in a moment and how I did that. For the face, I did choose to embroider the eyes with cotton yarn instead of using the safety eyes and the embroidery thread, using that same tutorial from Cassandra from Craftably Ever After. There is a lot of sewing with the Woody pattern, a lot of sewing. And the pattern, it will instruct you to sew the hair, the ears, arms, cuffs, vest, belt, and legs. So that's a lot of sewing, and I really don't like sewing.
1 hour later.
And so I try to minimize sewing when I can. So for this version, I did glue on the hair to the head. I glued the bandana. I put a little bit of glue right here just to make it stand out. I did glue the cuffs on along with the buckle, the belt as well. I did sew on the ears, the arms, and the legs to the body. Something that I did do differently with this version of Woody, I really liked the sitting version because it's a rag doll. And so right around round 26, I chose to crochet in the back loop only to make his body kind of like, to flatten out his bottom a little bit, and then just continued on sewing. And then once I fastened off how I attached the legs to the body, I did sew the legs on. I fastened them off, and then I sewed them on to that round where I did the back loop only. So I really like how it turned out. And so this is version 2 of Woody, and here's his hat. Read the pattern all the way through from beginning to end. This will help you visualize what you are making. To achieve the desired stitch definition that works well with the yarn you pick and your tension, you may need to go up or down in hook size. The kit includes a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook, so you could use this hook. I decided to use my Clover Amour crochet hook. I like it because it's got a really smooth finish. It's aluminum and I love the grip of it. So you may have to go up or down. Try using a cotton or a cotton blend for great stitch definition. So for this version of Woody, I did use Premier Minikins yarn, which is a 50% cotton, 50% acrylic blend. So I really like that yarn because it gives great stitch definition. For the yarn in the kit, it is 100% acrylic. So for this version of Woody, I did use the yarn from the kit. Acrylic yarn tends to be a little bit fuzzy and it does stretch a little bit more than cotton yarn does. Sew as you go. Don't wait to the end to sew parts to the body. I waited to the end to sew parts on the body and it was very overwhelming. Use hot glue or fabric glue to adhere pieces to the doll. So things like hair, shirt cuffs, belt, I definitely recommend using glue, either a hot glue or a fabric glue. Also, try the clothing and the boots on the doll before fastening off and sewing, and adjust if needed. So when you're making your doll, you want to make sure that the clothing, you are trying it on the doll as you're making it. So for the bandana, before you fasten off and sew, just tie it around the doll's neck to see if you like it or not. Same thing for the vest. Before you fasten off and sew, just try it on, making sure that it fits right. And also for the boots, I did have to make some adjustments to the boots when I was crocheting Woody. And so right around, it's that very last round where you do some slip stitches and also some double crochets. So you want to make sure that you are trying it on the doll, making sure the placement is right. So I did have to redo the boots a couple times on both dolls to make sure it was to my liking.
Is this Toy Story crochet kit a buy or a pass?
Overall, it's a great buy. The book is the star of the kit and it's a good value. The instructions are well written, very detailed, with plenty of photos and illustrations. Buy the kit. Use the materials in the kit or use what's in your yarn stash.
Go crochet some Toy Story characters, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!